Thank you, thank you. Thanks to House of Yes once again. How's everybody feeling? Yeah, good. That was a lot of fun. That was funny. I want to share a few things today. First of all, I was really impressed by the panel discussion that happened before this comedy group. And one of the things that they shared was about being in action. So that's something that I think is really vital. And they went on to actually speak a lot about, maybe not even so much about what they did, but about the climate of what's happening in our country right now, right? It's pretty serious. So I would like to learn a little bit about you for a moment. And I just want to know like where you're all sitting with this. So on a scale of like really let's just start there. Who would consider themselves quite active as an activist right now? Yeah, cool, cool. How about medium? All right, cool. Minimal? All right, that's cool. Nothing at all? Okay, cool, one. There's more than that though, I can tell you. So wherever you lie on that, it's important to understand like what really motivates us, what makes us move, what's going on in the world that makes us move. So just, raise your hand and share with me, what is something that moves you to be active? What's something that's important in your life around activism? There's a bunch of people who are active.
Melting ice caps.
Ice caps melting, cool.
Animals.
Animals, great.
My family, the future.
Your family and the future, nice. AI, all right. Both of you. Education.
Women's health.
Women's health, okay, cool. So a lot of really great things. There's a lot more, and I'm sure we're not binary, right? It's not just one thing, we care about multiple things. I want to share something. I was at an animal rights conference. It was more like an animal conservation conference. This was a while ago in New York. And I'm hanging out, and I'm listening to this gentleman. He was on stage, and he was sharing really deeply. And the thing that was important to him was this guy was the watchdog for the vaquita porpoise. I don't know if any of you know about the vaquita porpoise that lives in the Gulf of Mexico. Ever heard of it? Gulf of Mexico? This is an endangered animal, and this man's whole life mission was to save this. And he was a watchdog for the fishing and the shrimp companies, okay? He went on to speak, and he said, listen, I was going to speak before. I had a complete speech that I had figured out, but I'm done. I just got the call last night, and I found out that all of them were killed. The last 3 that were killed in the Gulf of Mexico. And he was actually in tears, and I'm watching him from the back of the room, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's heavy. I see that. And then my activist, environmentalist radar goes off, and I'm just kind of looking at him, and he's wearing leather belt, leather shoes, leather briefcase. Okay. He comes off stage, and I greet him at the corner of the stage, and I said, listen, brother, I appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you've done. I really believe that those animals would be dead a long time ago. I really appreciate your efforts. So thank you very much. He said, yeah. I said, but I want to ask you a question. I said, do you eat fish or shrimp? And he looks at me, this look, he's like, well, sometimes, sustainable, farm raised, I said, listen, man, it's just you and me. On a scale of yes to no, do you eat fish? And he said, yeah, I do. I said, thank you, I appreciate your honesty, I really do, cool. I said, so I have one other question. I don't expect an answer from you, but I would like to know, why did you think that the outcome would have been any different if the champion for these animals actually financially supports and engages in this exact same action that killed these animals? And I just walked off. And I wasn't saying that to be a total, I have to watch my language, I wasn't saying that to be a jerk. I was saying that because I find that in all the movements that I've been a part of, and I'm still a part of, and all the things that I see, I find so much of us doing things that are the antithesis of what we're doing. For instance, there's maybe people that are involved in saving the oceans, but they eat sea animals. And the act of doing that requires the most immense indiscriminate destruction of our oceans, bar none. 2.7 trillion sea animals are stripped out of the ocean every single year, and 42% of oceanic plastic pollution comes directly from the fishing industry. So if the oceans are important to you, that's something that we really have to be honest about. If we care, I hadn't heard anyone say it, but if we care about people who are, their bodily autonomy and their sexual orientation, that it's important to them, right? We care about that. However, at the same time, I see some of those people and some of those organizations at the same time paying for other females to be brutally mutilated, to be artificially impregnated, tortured, and slaughtered just for the momentary pleasure of some milk going across their tongue. These are really hard things. And if there's some itch in the room right now and you're feeling a little bit of funk, like, who is this freaking guy? Like, that's good. There should be, because if there's something there, then we should look at it. And that is activism. That's our own personal activism. I think they have a dairy farm upstate, if I'm not mistaken. Just kidding. That's our own personal activism, and it's important that we inspect our lives. It's important for me to do that, and I think it's important for all of us. And for all the organizations that are doing great stuff, and for all of us that really hold the line, we can go further. How can we tighten it up, right? One of the things I've found throughout so much time is, especially with kids, right? We have children, a lot of people have children, and we share, let's take the kids pumpkin picking and apple picking. It's beautiful. Let's go do that. It's fantastic. They learn about their food system. But then we don't take them to see the other food system with the animals. And that's something that's really tricky, especially when you get old enough and you're feeling like, oh my God, like they were lying to me the whole time, right? We have to find ways to hold our own truth. We have to find ways to be honest about this. Does anyone know what the IPCC is? So it's the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. This is a global body of scientists that only put out reports when all of the people, when all of the nations are in alignment, which how often does that happen? Hardly ever. In 2018, the IPCC clearly said, and I don't know if you remember hearing this, we have 12 years to radically and drastically change our habits. Otherwise, there's going to be absolutely irreversible havoc that's going to happen in all the micro ecosystems that eventually wind up to be bigger ecosystems, and it will be absolutely uncontrollable. That was in 2018. Last year was the hottest year on record. Anyone know about the 1.5 Celsius? We're not supposed to go past that. The 1.5 Celsius industrial levels. If you don't, please look into it. We just passed it. We went to 1.6. We were not supposed to go past that. Here's the thing. So many people want to point the finger and say, oh, the government, look what they're doing. Oh, look at these corporations, what they're doing. And they suck too, absolutely. And they're getting paid off, and it's horrible. I can't even believe, like, if you have any alien conspiracy inside of you whatsoever, it's got to be that our leaders are aliens, because they live on the same friggin' planet. How are they even cooperating in this in any way, shape, or form? But they do. It's really, really mind-blowing to me. We have those organizations, the IPCC, we have everything from Greenpeace, Sierra Club, UN, World Bank, all these organizations, and all they do is put out these incredible reports telling us about all the things in the harmful parts of our world. And at the same time, the single greatest polluting industry is animal agriculture. Animal agriculture is the absolute worst. Absolute. If I didn't care about animals for ethical reasons, I would not be a part of eating animals in any way, shape, or form because of the environmental reasons. The greatest cause of global greenhouse gas emissions, ocean dead zones, ocean acidification, oceanic plastic pollution, desertification, deforestation, antibiotic use, and the cause of 75% of pandemics. Especially the last one we just had, it was very seldom was it addressed, but the reality is that our use, abuse, and consumption of animals is absolutely the most destructive industry on our entire planet. So of course, I'm coming to you with that in my heart is the most important thing that I think. If there's a one size fits all, that's one thing that can take on so many things. We're looking at this new administration, what this clown is doing. He just did it the other day. These guys didn't mention this. I don't know if they mentioned it before, the Ocean Group. He opened up all our marine sanctuaries. Does anybody know that? He opened up our marine sanctuaries. These are sanctuaries that have been in place for decades. Now fishing and mining, undersea mining, deep sea mining, which is going to be absolutely devastating. I can go on and on and on about all these things. There's another thing that's really been really heavy too, another really bad ethical and environmental thing that I haven't heard discussed in this way. And I think it's really sad. Right now, as we're sitting here, we know this. There's 56,000 people that have been slaughtered. 17,000 of them are children in Palestine. Can you imagine the first 2 months of this war over there? We dropped 25,000 bombs. That's the equivalent of 2 nuclear bombs, 2 of them, in just those 2 months. And we know it's been about 560 plus days now. Can you imagine what that would do to just a small area of the planet? They have no water. All their waste is going out. Just from October to June, it was 16 million gallons of raw, untreated sewage going out into the ocean. And I say we because we paid for it. We paid for it. Our government paid for it. So I don't want to forget those people. There's a lot of other things going on. Sudan, Congo, everything. It just, there's a lot going on. But this is something that's near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. The purpose of this is really to share about not only the horrible things that have happened, but what we can do about it. That's why I asked you from the beginning, what are you doing? How are we being active? It's important that we're active. Anyone protesting? Anyone going out to the protests on the street? Yeah, all right, cool. We need more of that. Boycotts? The boycotts are working beautifully. Tesla, Target, a lot of companies. We're doing great with that. Divestment, not putting your money into weapons companies and things that are destroying our planet. And of course, calling our reps and sharing our love with them every day, by the way. I'm happy to share that information with you. I should have put it up, but I'm happy to share that with you afterwards. I have a really nice flyer on that. So just things that we could do. And it's important that we do something every day. If we don't do, imagine they're doing things every day, and just with one signing, it's massive, massive impact they're having on our world. We have to be in action every day. You could start when you wake up. You brush your teeth. What kind of toothpaste are you using? Was it due to the environment? Who's the company you're supporting? You go to eat. Are you eating something that's supporting the ethical and the environmental integrity of our planet and yourself? Cool. All the things. Wearing shirts. Am I going to support Under Armour, or are we going to have some piece that somebody's going to look at something and it puts something in their head at the least, and at the most, we'll have a conversation and talk about it, right? That's really, really important. I found that I've never not worn it in like 20 years. I have never not, and it's created incredible friendships, and it's created incredible amount of education, inspiration, and action. And I think that's one of the most important things we do. So whatever it is that we do, please, let's be in action. We have to. They're in action. Our complacency is their fuel. They absolutely want it. They absolutely need it. And they absolutely depend on it to push everything that they're doing. We're in a scary time now. I know a lot more people are more scared than ever. I have fear. But when I get mad, I get angry. And so I do things. And so that's when I have been approached by these fine people here. Like, just share something here around activism. I'm really hoping that all of you will take something on, and if you don't see it in your area, create it. Everything that we see, every protest, every single thing that's out there has been created. So if there's not something that's available and you see something that's really important, do it, create it, build it, and they will come. I promise you, it's really important. I want to read one little thing, and then I'll scram. But I really appreciate it. I'm going to also encourage you all to go outside and eat this awesome food from Freakin' Vegan, just out around the corner here. Enjoy my glasses. I need glasses these days. Can you imagine? All right.
They look nice.
They look nice, don't they? Yeah, good. Plastic, loser. This is something that I just read the other day. I thought it was really beautiful. We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere when human lives, and I say animals, are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Whenever men and women are persecuted because of their race, their religion, or political views, that place must, at that moment, become the center of the universe. This is written by a Holocaust survivor. and later a Zionist who supported the oppression and murder of Palestinians. And I'm sharing that because it is so important for all, while that's a beautiful message, it's so important for us to really hold our own principles and not compromise that by our affiliation. Always stand on the right side of truth. I thank you for your time. Have a beautiful day.